Thank you, J-Mac. That was a cool race to watch with the reverse grid. Do not get sick of these beautiful pictures from Queensland Raceway. The changes that we've seen here over the last 3 years, really remarkable considering what it looked like previously. So really, really cool to be a part of. What do we got out on track next off the back of Formula RX8? We have race number 4 for the Queensland Touring Car Championships QTCC. Joining me back in commentary, Scotty McCullough, the track commentator here at Queensland Raceway. Thank you for being with us, mate. And the Queensland Touring Car Championship runners have been putting on some really cool racing this weekend.
They certainly have been, and I've done a little bit of research. Sorry.
We'll come back to that with the grids. Peter Bray will start off the pole, Lee Gravelin in the Holden Monaro out of 2. Rob Ballinger, who's had an up-and-down weekend, out of position 3. Ben Malpass, Luke Beveridge, Les Hannafin, Michael Woodcroft in the Tirana, Hudson James, Rob Droder and Trent Rubb. Go back out of position 11 to Matt Corney, Nick Linton from 12, Bruce Rubb from 13, Mark Hyde from 14. Paul Corso out of 15 in the XC Falcon, Matt Devitt, Dean Wart, David Ling, Gary Lang completing the lineup. He's had some dramas throughout the weekend as well. As we're about to go green here in this race start, we'll hold off Scotty with what he's got to talk about. And I've got a feeling we won't be able to get over anything. But anyway, we'll deal with that shortly, Scotty. All right, so Peter Bray off the pole in this one. And he won the previous race for the weekend in race number 3 as we go green, and they charge down into turn number 1. Hudson James to the outside of the Woodcroft Tirana. All the 2 BMWs got together there through the middle of 1 and 2. That was Ballinger and Malpass in the Bastos replica, and they both ended up just about on the pole line through the centre of 1 and 2. So maybe a little contact there between the 2 BMWs.
Very close racing indeed, and good to see these guys now tip it in down to turn 3. With this side-by-side action, not bad for these bigger cars. These 2 Commodores going head-to-head.
Well, Gravelin's got through to the lead, so Peter Bray has been certainly one of the standouts in QTCC over the last couple of rounds at Morgan Park and here this weekend at Queensland Raceway. But Lee Gravelin didn't contest Morgan Park, but he has certainly been very, very fast, and they are side-by-side battling for the lead. The 4-door Commodore, Gravelin ran a little bit wide off the exit of 5, and that's cost him about 3 car lengths, and Ballinger, and that sequentially shifted BMW 6-cylinder now comes into range to the outside of Gravelin, looking for that position. We're only on lap number 1, about to complete that, and it's well and truly on here with the Queensland Touring Car Championship. Luke Beveridge back there in 4th. Another car I'm pretty sure has got a sequential gearbox, having listened to it throughout the weekend. Luke's had some dramas going on this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, well, like sometimes you get into those situations, but he's worked very hard to get that car back to where it is today.
So Luke Beveridge in that 4th position in the screaming Holden V8. There's Malpass in the 116, Hudson James, Woodcroft, Les Hannafin in the Valvoline number 34 Commodore. Les had a penalty earlier on the weekend for one of the restarts, which unfortunately didn't quite go to plan for the Valvoline 34, but that is a beautifully presented race car based out of Brisbane here with Hanos Car Care, who ironically is on the side of our race leader battling for the lead, Peter Bray, out in front of the category. So Queensland Touring Cars, 4th and final race of the weekend for them. And it looks like Peter Bray is back out in front. He's gone purple in the first 2 sectors, fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:22.56. And the group we were just watching back there with Hudson James, Woodcroft and Malpass for 5th, 6th and 7th. So Bray is definitely back into the lead. 19 there of Nick Linton. The 28 is Matt Corney in the BMW. Those guys, this is for 11th and 12th, a little bit further back from the leaders. Commodore versus BMW. That's sort of pretty much a bit of a mainstay with QTCC. Lots of battles between Commodores and BMWs.
That's it, and it's great to watch. A lot of the spectators like this type of racing. It's close, it's fast, it's furious, here we go. Another nice inside move there from the 28 car.
So that is for the 11th position, going by the 19 of Linton. Rob Droder just before that in the 62. Droder's running in the 10th spot. 63 there is Trent Rubb, and another one of the many Commodores in the Queensland Touring Cars. Here is Droder in the 62. That's a beautifully presented car. harking back to the Holden Racing Team schemes from earlier days. Peter Bray still your race leader. There's nothing in it. Gravelin within 0.6 of a second. They've just dropped Ballinger off by a little bit on lap 3 of 8 for the final race here of the Queensland Touring Car Championship at Queensland Raceway.
Now, there has been a couple of cars that have made adjustments, as I was going to say earlier. Gravelin's one of those. He had front end work done to his car. Young Hudson James, beautiful sounding Commodore. He's gone for super softs in this particular race, and I can see the times he's jumped up a couple of spots there too. Also, Michael Woodcroft has made changes to the Tirana, all trying to get a little bit extra, and new tyres going on for Beveridge. So that's what I had to deal with over the last hour or so. But
thank you, Scotty.
You can see those guys who have made the changes have jumped up just a tad.
Here's Gravelin with a run down the inside of Bray. We nearly lost. He nearly lost it. I was about to say he lost it, but he managed to gather it back up, and he's still trying to get it back. That was a wild moment for Gravelin. He was going for the race lead for a moment, for about half a second. He had it through the centre of the corner, and then it just broke the rear end free. That was a good gather up, because that car was just about stopped in the middle of the corner. Here's the HiTec Oils replay. Nice run up the inside, and then it just pinches the rears, loses the rears. It didn't quite stop, but that's as close as you would just about get it stopped. Brays up the inside, probably laughing inside his helmet. Can't believe his good luck, and he's managed to drive back up the inside and go back to the race lead and extends the race lead as Ballinger's closed the gap now to Gravelin in that second position. That was a really, really big moment for Gravelin while he was sort of challenging there for the lead.
Yeah, well, Lee did a great job on that save. Great stuff.
That was just about the save of the day, I'm going to say. Luke Beveridge in the 4th position. Malpass, Hudson James in the 68 EFS Commodore back in 6th. Let's go back to some of the smaller class battles. The 17 of Mark Hyde and that beautiful little Mark II Escort. We've got a couple of these cars running here this weekend. Hyde is back in the 15th position. We've got the 14 of David Ling. Now, I'm not too sure if David's based out of the Northern Territory or not, but the Ling name sort of rings a bell from the EMC. But how cool, the little Mark II Escort, one of the most iconic race cars anywhere on the planet, and Mark Hyde knows how to get that thing around the racetrack.
Well, haven't they had some development over the years with those cars?
Well, you can buy a Shell brand new now. Mark 1s and Mark 2s. Definitely Mark 1s. Mark 2s I'm pretty sure you can as well. You see some of the rally car builds in Europe, and you're talking about a car that's worth $300,000 to $400,000 plus for a 1970s Mark II Escort. It's got some battle wounds to the right front corner of that machine as Ling in the Falcon is having a good old private battle going there. So that's 15th, 16th, 17th. With the 38 of Dean Ward just in behind in one of the many BMWs. As we go back up front, Peter Bray looking for another victory in the Hanos Car Care number 29 Commodore. Gravelin trying to come back at him after that wee mistake on a lap or so ago. Still about 2.5 laps left to go here for the QTC finale at Queensland Raceway as part of round 3 of the HiTec Oil Super Series.
I'm wondering if Gravelin's going to set him up for the last lap there at turn 3. That's where he had the crack earlier on. He's just had another little look then.
There's only 3 tenths in it. It's less than 3 tenths in it now. Gravelin definitely closing that gap. That gap was out to about 6 car lengths when Gravelin made that mistake a couple of laps ago. So he's back right on underneath the rear wing of the Bray number 29 Hanos Car Care Commodore. And Bray looks like he's got a little bit of better drive down out of turn number 5 because he's actually just put a little bit more of a gap on Gravelin. Gravelin's strong under brakes, but what he doesn't want to do, as we go back through the field, we go to the 97 of Bruce Rubb and the beautiful Falcon. That'll be Bonacorso in the 7.
He's only just done that car up this season.
Wow, that's cool.
It's a beautiful livery.
It's just a little baby 302 cubic inch small block. It's not a 351, I got told. Little 302. That'll be pulling some RPM. All right, Hudson James, Les Hannafin, Michael Woodcroft, the later Commodore, the earlier Commodore, and the well earlier Tirana as part of that battle group. That is for 6th, 7th, and 8th. Hannafin with a nice run on James.
And I think that's for class victory as well, I'm pretty sure.
So we do have the different classes in amongst the QTCC. Hannafin very, very narrow through the run through two. Was actually up on the curbs. James with an inside run. Hannafin's not lacking for straight line speed.
Yeah, that's where Huddy's is lacking. He's good in the corners. Car sounds great, but just, lacking that top end, and it's been happening throughout the weekend.
So Les Hannafin a couple of seasons ago made the step up from, I think, the B category to A to run an outright with his number 34 machine, if I'm correct.
Yep.
All right, so Gravelin. Well, we got a new race leader. Just looking at the scoring, Ballinger's back to second. So Gravelin's managed to get around him.
He's gone.
There's Bray. So Bray back to third. So he's had it off somewhere. Has he and Gravelin got together? Okay, new race leader. Gravelin's out in front. Ballinger in second on the final lap. Last lap board is out. So Lee Gravelin, your race leader. I can't see any sort of battle damage or anything going on there. So what happened to Peter Bray after Morgan Park? He is human.
Yes.
He dominated at Morgan Park. So he's back to third. Beveridge with a run. Bray must have a problem. It may be a mechanical issue that's just dropping him back. He might not have had it off. It's a mechanical issue. Just looking at the last lap, and it was substantially slower than his previous best. So Bray must have a mechanical issue as Ballinger's right up underneath the rear wing of Gravelin on this last lap run home for QTCC. So a bit of drama going on at the end of this one. Gravelin looking for victory in the big Monaro. Had a wee off himself, gathered it back up, and he was right there with Bray within the last couple of laps. The Nillavag Enterprises Monaro is going to take victory. Gravelin with the win in the Monaro. Ballinger in second. Luke Beveridge will get third. Bray is going to just hold on to fourth. And definitely something has gone wrong mechanically with the number 29 machine. Malpass fifth. Hannafin crosses the line in sixth. Hudson James in seventh. Michael Woodcroft in eighth in the number 5 Tirana. That is a very, very cool looking race car. 63 of Trent Rubb. Trent will cross the line in 10th. Followed by the 28 BMW of Matt Corney. Well, what went on there at the end for Peter Bray, I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure it was a mechanical because he was definitely slowing towards the end. Gravelin taking the victory in the Monaro for the final race of the weekend for the Queensland Touring Car Championships. Ballinger in second, Luke Beveridge in third. Here's confirmation, Lee Gravelin with the win, 2.5 seconds clear of Rob Ballinger. Luke Beveridge third. Peter Bray, who was leading, had an issue towards the end of the race, dropped back to fourth and 12 seconds out of the race lead. Ben Malpass, Les Hannafin, Hudson James, Michael Woodcroft through to 8th, Rob Schroeder in 9th, Matt Corney in 11th, Nick Linton, Bruce Rubb, Paul Bonacorso in that beautiful Ford Falcon, Dick Johnson replica, David Ling, Matt Devitt, Dean Ward, Mark Hyde, Simon Anthony's and Nathan Marks. So that was the final race for the QTCCs. We've got Super TT, Stock Cars, Australian Trans Am and Invited Cars next. We had some issues out there for the number 17 Escort. We definitely didn't see that one happen. A lot of damage to the front of the number 17 Mark Hyde Escort at the end of that one, and he was definitely down the order. So sad to see that. Lots of damage to a pretty cool little race car. HiTec Oils highlights. The Battle of the Holdens off the front row. Race 3 winner Peter Bray got jumped off the start by Gravelin. Initially, Hudson James and Woodcroft were side-by-side battling for position as Ballinger and Malpass had a little issue together through the middle of 1 and 2. Gravelin had a moment here that gave the lead back to Bray. Gravelin got his head down and actually got back underneath the rear wing as Les Hannafin made a nice pass to the outside of Hudson James here for a position that would eventually see him up inside the top 6. Michael Woodcroft part of that battle as well in the Brock replica Tirana. Hannafin really defensive, but climbing the inside curve. You don't usually see that. Beveridge getting the pass for third here on Bray, who was limping towards the end. Just looking at that, there was something dragging down underneath the back of the race car by the looks of it. It's Lee Gravelin. He would go on to take victory after a moment himself in this one. Did it pretty easily at the end. And he was about 2.5 seconds up the road from Rob Ballinger in the BMW. Gravelin taking victory in the last race of the QCCC here at Queensland Raceway. Ballinger in second in the BMW.
Righto, come on over. Congratulations, Luke, finishing your day off at 2 Days of Thunder with a podium place. Job well done, mate.
Thank you for that. I'd like to thank everybody that came out today, our pit crew, to make it all happen. Great weekend, had fun, had a few issues earlier on in the weekend, but it's been a good weekend.
Nice finish, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Rob Ballinger, P2. You had a rocky start to the weekend, but you've ended it well.
I did, yeah. Had a couple of little errors with the computer in the car. Got a drive-through penalty for speeding in pit lane. But, yeah, just sort of kept in there and got back up the front, sort of.
Well, they say you're only as good as your last race, so P2, you must be happy.
Yeah, no, very, very happy. Yeah, thank you.
Lee Gravelin, a top finish there in the final race for the weekend. Sum your weekend up for us.
Didn't start off too well yesterday. Qualified in fourth on Friday. Went off track in race one, which put me back to, I think it was 8th position. And then yesterday didn't have a bad run, and obviously today's been a very good run.
Fantastic stuff. Any issues with the car today?
Actually, the car's been really good. I can't fault it.
Fantastic. Great way to finish 2 Days of Thunder. Congratulations.
It's a big meeting. It's the one everybody wants to go to, the one I want to go to. I don't do all the rounds, and I bent over backwards to get my car here, and it's been a really great weekend. Weather's been great, people have been great, and a great finish for the car.
Awesome stuff. Mel has taken off down towards the TA2 pits. What have you found?
Tom Heyman, what a cracking last race that was. You started 9